Greetings, Crocodile Army. I'm sure many of you have heard of SE Cupp, a conservative pundit and frequent guest on political talk shows, especially on CNN's Crossfire, where she's a panelist. She's also an atheist who's quite fond of talking about how conservatives are misunderstood and religious people are unfairly attacked by the media. She even wrote a book on the topic. You may also recall her recently addressing Bill Nye in a debate on Crossfire, accusing scientists like the science guy of bullying people on the topic of climate change. Yes, apparently non-scientists feel inadequate when presented with actual science. Last week she put out a snappy little video exhorting her fellow atheists to flock to the Conservative Party that I think you'll find interesting. It is exactly as face-palmingly hilarious as you would expect.
I don't know. I don't believe in God, but I'm not mad at him.
So SE Cupp, the atheist, starts out her video by saying she's not mad at God, and at least to my ears sounds like she's implying that other atheists might be. That is literally, by which I mean the actual definition of literally, the first time I've ever heard an atheist say it like that. This concept of being mad at God is something that is constantly thrown at atheists by theists, and is part of the package of this idea among some theists that there are no atheists, which is usually followed up by nonsense about how we just don't want to answer to God for our sins, and therefore we don't believe in him. Her video is off to a terrible start, but let's see what else she has to say.
I became an atheist because I'm not a joiner. I didn't want to be part of a club or a group.
So who becomes an atheist just because they don't want to be a joiner? I suppose it's possible, but I again literally have never heard that cited as a reason for being an atheist before. Short of creating your own religion, almost any choice on that spectrum is going to have plenty of people in it. It also seems to be lost on her that when she joined the Republican Party and became a vocal public voice of the party in the media, I'm pretty sure that made her decidedly part of a club or group, which she now goes into even more detail about.
There's another myth that conservatism is somehow hostile to atheism. I also don't find that to be the case. I'm a conservative atheist. I felt very welcomed by this party. Most conservative atheists I know, including myself, have a really healthy respect for the role of religion in society and in this country in particular.
Wow, you don't say. The Republican Party, increasingly dominated by older white men, welcomes her into the fold. My political choices depend on whether the politician shares my ideas about how the country should be run, not how I'm welcomed. I can't even consider voting Republican because they tend to put their idea of God above the reproductive rights of women and the right to marry of gay people, which apparently is their idea of the role of religion in society, though marriage equality is the one issue SE Cupp is not conservative on. Don't even get me started on their ideas about taxation or antagonism towards science. These are not trivial differences, so don't forget about that when you run into one of those the parties are both the same types of people. Why would the Republican Party be the natural home for people who understand that the highest authority in the world is humanity and not God, and that people should use science to solve problems and not prayer? It isn't, and that's why 75% of atheists identify as Democrats and/or liberals.
Bill Maher thinks 95% of the world has a neurological disorder. I don't think you'd find that on the right, and for that reason, I'll say it, I think our atheists are better than yours.
First, Bill Maher is a comedian who doesn't speak for me. I agree that the religion is a mental illness assertion is totally wrong, and I can tell you exactly why, but that will wait for another video. However, if you want to play the outrageous quote game, I can bury you just using Brian Fisher and Rush Limbaugh quotes alone. That's a game you cannot win, SE Cupp. As for whose atheists are better, I think I've already made it clear who I think is better. I don't really much care what your underlying position is on God or religion. If you can find your way to putting people first in the ways that I described, then I'm on your side, and I don't much care how you got there philosophically. Your party is not on my side, SE Cupp. So thanks for your generous offer to become a conservative, but you'll have to enjoy the fancy events with your conservative pals on your own. Oh, and while you're there, be careful not to step in the Santorum.